Next week, I'm playing Jack. That's a win. Whoo! The Giants went on to have their worst start since 1934. Do you have any idea how long ago 1934 was? All right, 5 years before 1934 was 1929. That was the Roaring '20s, where jazz was a thing and people were riding horses. And they complained about New York City smelling like shit. Well, I mean, we still complain about that, but that's besides the point. 1934, 100 years ago, minus 9 years, so like 91 years ago. That's a long fucking time ago. We had our worst start since 1934 and went 6 straight quarters scoreless. And I can't tell you how defeated I was watching my favorite football team spend 6 quarters not scoring points while being down 20-0 to the worst team in the league in the Arizona Cardinals. But somehow, some way, the mentality monsters that are the New York Yankees came back and won. We came back from a 20-point deficit. We scored on every single drive in the second half. Danny Dimes, he showed that he can be him when he wants to be him. But at what cost? We lost Saquon, and Saquon-less Giants team goes from a playoff contender to not great. I'm passionate but not delusional. There's a difference. To be honest, I'm not super worried. I mean, we have one of the toughest stretches of games coming up for the rest of our season. Our next 4 games are against the Bills, the Dolphins, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. The 49ers we're going to lose to, the Dolphins we're going to lose to, the Bills probably going to lose to, and the Seahawks, you could make a case that we would beat them. I think with Saquon and good coaching, we would probably beat them. So I'm not too worried. Rest the guy, sit him for the 4 weeks, not even the 3, and we'll get the rest of this season, no problem. The AFC North showed us how ugly football can really get with defensive touchdowns, injuries, and just really poor football. Chubb's knee went flaccid, so let's wish this man a swift and speedy recovery. He still has aspirations of becoming a father, so let's make sure this guy can do that and get back on the football field in a timely manner. The Dolphins asserted their dominance with a divisional win. The Jets in that same division showed how badly they need to trade for Kirk Cousins. Zach Wilson, more like Zach, will you throw a complete pass? But forget about all that noise. Let's talk about our league, the more important league. After the second week, week 2, we've separated into 3 tiers of teams. We have 0-2, 1-1, 2-0, and thankfully, there's 4 teams in each tier, so my OCD thanks all of you at the league. Declan got a trade in just in time to replace an injured Eckler, and that trade was settled via fucking coin flip. Am I? I don't know who's more delusional. You for accepting that trade, or Chris Christie for still thinking that he can run for a Republican presidential nomination. Doesn't make any sense. Jack was unlucky, as literally he always is. You should really submit a formal written apology to the city of Cincinnati, because you single-handedly ruined the one thing they had going for them, which is Burrow and his 3 receivers. Like, you ruined the Bengals, and that's your fault, Jack. Last year's champion in Ben is sitting at 0-2 in the lowest tier, surprisingly. His team is kind of in shambles, especially considering that Akers just got traded to the Vikings. Madison is going to have to practice with Akers. That's going to be bad for Madison, man. Fucks. I mean, the Minion Man himself, finding himself at 2-0, and he's now projected to finish in the top 4 according to ESPN. So, my hats off to you, my good sir. Me personally, I prevented the league's villain, aka Alex Sunbear Lee, from getting the weekly payout again. Proved that the double tight end strategy is actually a great strategy. The management maestro himself left another 30 points on his bench this week to not win the weekly prize. I mean, if that's not just class, I don't know what is. Alex, you, my friend, I aspire to be like you when I'm older. I really, really do. Overall, the league recovered from a fucking brutal week 1 where barely anybody scored above 100 points. But this week, 9 out of 12 of us were in the triple digits, which is good to see. And if you weren't, work out a trade with somebody who isn't Declan without flipping a coin or drawing straws or using random number generators. Please, for the love of God, just make a regular trade. So my Excel model is still useless. It's only been 2 weeks. But don't worry, Professor Kareem has something cooking for you during the first episode that we can finally use it. Until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy the return of the managerial awards. We have the Manager of the Week, the Doofus of the Week, the Matchup of the Week, Vegan of the Week, and my personal projected winner and loser of the league. Manager of the Week. Unfortunately, it's got to be Declan. I mean, you fleeced him, I. Is that hard to do? No, but you did what you needed to do. Doofus of the Week. There are 2 people who I believe deserve Doofus of the Week. I can only choose one, and what better fashion to decide who gets it than a coin flip. So as you can see, tails. That means Amai, your doofus of the week for trading with Declan. Matchup of the week. It's gotta be Declan versus Sol. Deck won by 4 points, and he won because he traded for Nico Collins, and Collins scored 24 points. So, I mean, that's good management, that's good fleecing, and you're keeping Sol at 0-2. So, I mean, overall, love all of it. Vegan of the week. It's gonna be Alex. Alex, you left way too many points to your bench for the second week in a row. You don't deserve to eat any meat for 7 days. Projected winner, I don't fucking know. It's been 2 weeks. Let's just say Declan because he's got some voodoo magic going for him, and if I can try to reverse jinx the reverse jinxer, I will go down in the THS Tenify High School Football Fantasy Hall of Fame. And loser is probably going to be Ben, actually, because Ben's team is low-key kind of garbage. Next week, I'm playing Jack. That's a win. Alex is playing Jay. Alex wins. Ben's playing Noah. Ben gets his first win. Amai versus Sam. Sam's going to beat Amai. Bob.
Hey guys, it's Kareem. I'm currently in post right now, editing the video. When I got a message from Bob talking about points against and how if I don't talk about it in the video, then I'm a fraud and that nothing that I say matters because Bob's only 0-2 because of the points against. There are 7 people in the league who have more points for than Bob. That means that there's a full playoff bracket and one other scumbag who's not in the playoffs who has more points than Bob, which leads me to believe, Bob, that the points against is not the issue. That's number one. Number two, okay? Number two is it's 2 weeks into the season, all right? Numbers don't mean shit right now. I'm the numbers guy, and the numbers don't mean literal garbage, all right? You can have the most points for in the first 2 weeks, and then you could be starting Akers, and you're done, you know? Or maybe, I pick up Kareem Hunt, and all of a sudden he's doing amazing. I'm going to put this in at the end of the video, uncut, uncensored, so that you can see how my heart bleeds for our league, for this league, and for you. I'll see you.
Versus Sol, both 0-2 teams. Sol's going to go 0-3. Saquon's out, and he didn't pick up Burrito like a dumbass. We have Declan versus Kyle. Someone's going to go 2-1. I think Kyle beats Declan. You know what? I'm so confident that Declan's going to lose next week that if he doesn't, I will drink a raw egg. All right, let's see what happens next week.